da pawb, my name's Kira Marshall and welcome to Cardiff. It's a city where I'm excited to be standing as a first-time candidate for Plaid Cymru. The Welsh capital of Cardiff has a rich history of ambition and culture, the home of Welsh rugby, the oldest record store in the world, and it's where the world's first £1 million cheque was signed. It's also where I live and where I'm proud to call my home. I hadn't quite expected to be alone in that fact among the major party candidates standing in my constituency of Cardiff West. But Plaid Cymru has never been a party of parachutists or careerists. We're a party where we believe in being a voice for our communities and our political establishments, not being a voice of the establishment in our communities. If I wanted an easy job or a safe seat, perhaps I would have joined the Labour or the Conservative Party. But that's not why I got into politics. I grew up in a council estate in Town Hill in Swansea, an area that has been let down by successive Conservative and Labour governments, like many areas in my home of Cardiff West. I do not believe a third of our children should be living in poverty. I do not believe our elderly shouldn't be able to afford heating. I do not believe that our workers and our small businesses should lose their livelihoods as our economy stagnates. This surely isn't as good as it gets. We at Plaid Cymru have a proud record of championing our communities and being an authentic voice for Wales and Westminster. But we're more than that too. Today we're here in the Temple of Peace, and we have a strong history as proud internationalists. At 26 years old, I have grown up in the uncertain world of Brexit, a global pandemic, austerity, and a growing climate emergency. And now war has returned to Europe. A tragedy is unfolding in the Middle East, and in many countries, far-right politicians seek to take advantage of people's insecurities and peddle division. Plaid Cymru's commitment to a just peace in Ukraine, the Middle East, and elsewhere has never been in doubt. Our leader, Rhynap Fiorwyth, has shown great leadership in this election, standing up to Farage and the populist right. It's high time Farage was put in his place. Plaid Cymru is also clear that we need closer links with our nearest neighbours. My generation feels a profound loss of the opportunities to travel and work in Europe, but we're keen to mend those bridges for the sake of our economic and cultural prosperity. Our manifesto for this election is a statement of values of what we want Wales to be and how we see Wales is placed in the wider world. In this election, no one else is pledging to put Wales first. No one else is setting out a bold vision of what a more equal and just society we want to create here. And no one else is ambitious for our nation, our economy, or our future generations. If this is the kind of change you want to see, then Plaid Cymru is for you. We know the Tories are on their way out, but we cannot allow Labour to keep taking Wales for granted. So by electing Plaid Cymru MPs, Wales's voice will be heard in Westminster. And I know that candidates like Anne Davies in Caerfyrddin, we have community champions who will fight day in and day out for the people they seek to represent. So I'd like to invite Anne to say a few words. Diolch yn fawr.
Diolch yn fawr iawn i ti, Cira, am y geiriau caredig a'r cyflwyniad. Yn yr etholiad yma, mae llais Cymru yn San Steffan yn cael ei lleihau. 32 o leisiau allan o dros 600 fydd yn siarad lan dros ein gwlad a'n cymunedau. Mae'r newid ffiniau wedi rhoi bargen wael i Gymru, ond maen nhw wedi ail-greu etholaeth sydd yn annwyl iawn i ni yma yn y blaid. Rwy'n ymwybodol o'r cyfrifoldeb a'r braint o cael cynrychioli Plaid Cymru yn sedd newydd Caerfyrddin. Yma, bron union yr un ffiniau, etholwyd Gwynfor Evans nôl yn 1966. Ac os bydd llais dros Cymru eriod, llais Gwynfor oedd hwnnw. Un llais ar y cychwyn, ond llais grymus, didwyll a gonest, yn mynegu gwerthodd ei gymuned a'i fagwraeth, a llais oedd bobl yn gwrando arni ac fydd yn sbardun, a fuodd yn sbardun I newid gwell. Gwynfor Evans was the first Plaid Cymru MP in Westminster and his first community champion of Westminster. And I'm excited and privileged to be standing in his old constituency. Carmarthenshire has given everything to me, and this is why, and this is what has actually brought me into politics. My roots run deep, and it's my life's experiences which drive my passion to see its people get a fair deal. I know that farmers face an uncertain future, with hasty trade deals opening our markets to unfair competition. And I know it's a tough environment to build a small business with increasing costs and the challenges of training staff and retaining staff. And I know how vital it is in rural areas to have a health service that is close to your home and your community. I know too how our communities feel left out of decisions seemingly taken far away. Wales and Carmarthenshire has an abundance of natural resources, but they must be harnessed in a way that respects our natural environment and brings benefit to us, the local people. A passion to see our communities get a fair deal and our ambition that this isn't as good enough as it gets for Wales runs through our manifesto from cover to cover. And it's a platform on which I'm proud to stand on. Places like Carmarthenshire need change, but this election is about what kind of change that will be. The best chance we have for our voice to be heard is with a strong team of Plaid Cymru MPs in Westminster, and I will do all that I can between now and July the 4th to join in what I confidently predict will be a formidable team once again, led by the fantastic Liz Saville-Roberts. Diolch yn fawr.
Bore da pawb. Dair wythnos I mewn i'r ymgyrch. Mae'r toriad a'r chwal, a mae llafur yn brathu tyfodau rhag dweud, wel, mae'n gwirionedd unrhyw beth diddorol. Dwi yn falch bod ymgyrch Plaid Cymru yn ymgyrch bositif, a gweledigaeth glir iddi ar gyfer dyfodol llywyrchus I Gymru yn glad. Diolch o galon I Ciara ac Ian am mynychiadau mor positif. Ciara is putting a spanner in the works of Labour's machine here in Cardiff West. And she's showing up Starmer's shamelessness in parachuting his men to seats like this one across Wales. Let's show him once and for all that there's no such thing as a safe seat. Let's stop him, of course, from taking Wales for granted. Ac Ann yng Nghaerfyrddin. Mi fydda I yn aelod syneddol ffodus iawn os ga I rannu'r meincia gwyrdd gydag Ann, a dwi'n edrych ymlaen yn arw at hynny. Mae ganddi hi dan yn ei bol I fyny dyfodol gwell I Gaerfyrddin, a throi wrth gwrs, troi Sedd Gwynfor yn wyrdd unwaith eto. So they say it's Manifesto week. The Tories kicked things off on Tuesday and they offered a mix of recycled attacks on Wales's democracy and threats once again of a disastrous mini-budget sequel. But many people have just stopped listening, and the rest of us are aghast at what they think is still worth saying. Coincidentally, and yes, I'm sure it was just a coincidence, Labour are also announcing their manifesto today. You might hope for a radical manifesto for change, but no, they're sticking to Tory fiscal rules, which means that £18 billion will yet have to be cut. More austerity, but with a red face this time. But surely you think they're at least following through with the demands of Wales's Labour government. the one that they're so proud to use as a blueprint? No, we already know there won't be a mention of the devolution of justice, and not a whisper of the £4 billion owed to Wales in transport funds. Welsh Labour has been in power here for 25 years, a quarter of a century, keeping the Labour machine well oiled while their Westminster colleagues were in opposition. And this is the thanks they get. So today I am proud that Reen will be publishing a manifesto which stands in brilliant contrast to Labour's bland offer and their like it or lump it attitude towards Wales. A manifesto based on values, fairness, ambition, equality, hope, and an honest recognition that we must find money to fund public services, not by making workers pay more taxes, but by ensuring those with the broadest shoulders pay their fair share. And our manifesto is grounded in the fundamental belief that Wales, as supposedly an equal partner, deserves our fair share of funding and ambition to invest in our communities using the natural wealth that is currently siphoned off to London. Our sovereign wealth fund would be transformational for poor communities that have too long seen their natural wealth extracted. I introduced the Crown Estate Devolution Bill in the last Parliament. Labour refused to support it. We need to elect more Plaid Cymru MPs to force Labour to take notice of our demands. And on policing and justice, only Plaid Cymru has an evidence-based policy to create safer communities through well-resourced services with police forces that truly understand those communities. And yesterday, Yvette Cooper threw cold water on her own party's Welsh Government's work on the devolution of policing. A hard no, then, to evidence that's been built by years, for years by experts. Plaid Cymru's manifesto is a manifesto for real change. Manifesto dros ddyfodol llywyrchus ein gwlad lle mae pawb yn cyfri, lle mae pawb yn chwarae rôl llawn. I rai ohonoch chi ar draws Cymru sydd eisiau gweld diwedd ar y cyfnod erchyll yma, da ni wedi profi dan y ceidwadwyr, mae'r cyfnod erchyll yn dod i ben, ond da ni hefyd yn gwybod bod chi ddim yn gwbl hyderus y bydd newid dan Cyrstar yma yn ddigonol. Gwrandiwch felly ar yr hyn sydd gan Reen i'w gynnig heddiw. Gweledigaeth gadarn, polisi uchelgeisiol, dyna gewch chi heddiw. Ble bynnag dych chi'n byw, gallwch fod yn sicr bod pleidlais i Blaid Cymru ar y perwerydd Gorffennaf yn bleidlais i aelod seneddol a fydd bob amser yn sefyll dros fyddiannau gorau Cymru, bob dydd. Mae manifesto heddiw yn sylfaen i ni adeiladu dyfodol gwell. Mae felly yn bleser gennau i gyflwyno arweinydd Plaid Cymru, Reen ap Iorwerth, i'r llwyfan.
Wel, bore da. Bore da, gyfeillion. Good morning, friends. Mae mor dda gweld gymaint o'na chi yma heddiw ar ddiwrnod sy'n mor bwysig yn unrhyw etholiad, diwrnod lansio Manifesto, diwrnod i ddangos gweledigaeth, a dyna pam da ni'n gwneud hyn ynde. It's wonderful to see so many of you here today, a day to spell out our vision, a key to any election. It's why we are here, having spent every day since Rishi Sunak's rain-soaked announcement outside Downing Street 3 weeks ago, speaking to people in all parts of Wales. I have a genuine sense that this election feels different. It feels as if more people than ever are left utterly uninspired by what either Labour or the Conservatives have to offer. Yes, there's a longing for change, absolutely, but it feels as if more people than ever are longing for a more hopeful, more ambitious vision too. And in that spirit, I'm excited to be unveiling Plaid Cymru's vision through our manifesto today. The common thread which runs through this manifesto is fairness. Firstly, fair funding for Wales. Plaid Cymru is the only party advocating for the abolition of the Barnett's formula, which has seen Wales lose out to the tune of billions of pounds now over the years. It's not a begging bowl. It's just doing what's right, enabling investment in public services and in the economy. Even Lord Barnett himself, the architect of that formula back in 1978, when I was that size, said that it had passed its sell-by date many years ago, and scrapping it in favour of a needs-based model is essential if we're to be able to adequately fund our public services, and should be the bare minimum of what the next government offers Wales. Likewise, on HS2, the troubled high-speed rail project, because it's classed as an England and Wales project, Scotland and Northern Ireland are compensated. But of course, there's not a single mile, not a single inch of HS2 track in Wales, and we get nothing. It's worse than that. We actually get less rail investment as a result. And in line with usual compensation rules, Wales is owed some £4 billion. Just imagine what that could do in terms of transforming our public transport network nationwide, buses, roads, railways, connecting our communities physically, digitally, and giving our economy that desperately needed boost. And let me be clear, this appeal for fair funding isn't driven by ideology, it's driven by principle. It's driven by what is right. Remember that there is nothing whatsoever that is inevitable about our poverty as a nation, nothing intrinsic to our people, which means we cannot create a thriving economy and world-class public services, given the tools that we need. So to the next UK government, we say this: show you are serious about Wales and resolve the long-standing fair funding issues. And show that you're serious about backing our economy as an internationalist party. And like Labour and the Conservatives, we in Plaid Cymru aren't afraid to call out the disastrous consequences of severing ties with the world's largest trading bloc. We've been clear, consistent and unequivocal in recent years that rejoining the single market and customs union are vital in order to mitigate the impact of Brexit on Welsh business and reduce overheads and administrative costs. It's just common sense. A nid dim ond tegwch economaidd, wrth gwrs, sy'n gyrru Plaid Cymru bob dydd, ond cyfiawnder cymdeithasol hefyd. Dyna pam y bydden ni efo cyllid teg yn buddsoddi yn gweithlu iechyd, i recriwtio 500 o feddygon teulu i Gymru ar ôl degawdau o doriadau'r ceidwadwyr a chamreoli gan lafur. Efo Cymru misg y gwledydd Ewropeaidd sy'n ar nifer lleia o feddygon y pen, mae Llywodraeth Lafur Cymru wedi methu'n glir am mynd i'r afael ar argyfwng staffio sy'n wynebu'r NHS, ac mae o yn argyfwng. Mae cynaliadwyedd yr NHS yn ddibynnol ar gynaliadwyedd y gweithlu, a mae'r gweithlu yn heiddi yn cefnogaeth ni. Yn yr un modd, mae amseroedd aros yn parhau dyfu mewn sawl maes, efo anghysondeb amlwg rhwng rhanbarthau pan dawn fater o dderbyn gofal. Dyna'r meddwl y tu ôl i strategaeth canser newydd Plaid Cymru, cynllun pellgyrhaeddol i sicrhau fod canser yn cael ei ddal a'i drin ynghynt, a fydda'n rhoi stop ar y lottery code post sy'n wynebu cymaint o bobl Cymru wrth iddyn nhw aros am driniaeth. The statistics are really sobering, aren't they? The need to build a sustainable NHS in resource and workforce is greater than ever. The link between poverty and poor housing and ill health is crippling, and arguably felt more acutely in Wales because of our ageing population and post-industrial legacy. It was Gordon Brown, wasn't it, who said that child poverty is a scar on the soul of Britain. Labour's Gordon Brown, if only Keir Starmer was making that a priority today. And it must be a priority. Not only is Plaid Cymru committed to scrapping the cruel and unfair two-child benefit cap to which Labour and the Tories are shamefully wedded. We would also increase child benefit by £20 per week. This would help 330,000 Welsh families to deal with the cost of living crisis, taking 60,000 children out of poverty. Plaid Cymru on the side of a fairer future for all, especially our children. And these are the foundations of our vision for Wales: fairness and ambition. And there is so much more that we need to do. A fairer tax system, including use of windfall taxes, devolving the Crown estates to create green jobs and build prosperity. A just transition commission to give the future of Welsh steel a fighting chance as we strive for a net zero world. Reversing Labour's cuts to business rate support here in Wales. A Wales-specific COVID inquiry to give victims and their loved ones the answers they deserve. Building on our work to deliver a national care service for Wales. Fair funding for our police forces and the devolution of justice. Rejected again by Labour. Keeping the pension triple lock. A veto on future trade deals that undermine Welsh agricultural communities, and a cast iron commitment to the pursuits of global peace from Ukraine to Gaza. I'm proud of our offer, but more importantly, I know our offer is in Wales's interests. In 3 weeks' time, we can almost be certain that Sir Keir Starmer will be moving into number 10 Downing Street. The Tories are finished, thank goodness. But we can influence the change ahead of us, keeping the incoming Labour government in check, not giving them a free pass to take Welsh votes, but then cast Wales's interests aside. I'm proud to stand on a platform which offers a positive vision for our country, a genuinely positive vision for our country, which offers a real alternative to the increasingly joined-up thinking of the two main UK parties, and a platform which gives people the opportunity to vote for fairness, for ambition, and for Wales. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you.